There's an island in the Indian Ocean where outsiders are forbidden, where the people reject modern life, and where the culture may be the oldest continuous way of life on Earth, unchanged for over 50,000 years. This is North Sentinel Island, and the people who live there, the Sentinelese, remain one of the world's greatest mysteries. But their DNA, their language, and their very existence may hold the key to understanding the deepest roots of humanity. Titled The Island That Time Forgot. North Sentinel Island lies in the Bay of Bengal, part of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It's a lush, forested patch of land surrounded by coral reefs, with no ports, no runways, and no roads. The people who live there have no metal tools, no electricity, and no modern buildings. They have resisted contact for centuries, violently defending their isolation from anyone who dares approach. To this day, we know almost nothing about their culture, but we know one thing: they're one of the last uncontacted tribes on Earth. Title: Why Scientists Are Fascinated. The Sentinelese don't just represent an untouched culture. Genetically and historically, they may be a living link to the first humans who left Africa. Anthropologists believe their ancestors arrived tens of thousands of years ago, possibly as early as 60,000 BCE, and remained in isolation ever since. This makes them possibly the oldest unbroken human culture still in existence. No mixing, no colonization, no war, trade, or influence from the outside world. Their DNA could be a time capsule, showing what ancient human genes looked like before agriculture, cities, or modern nations even existed. How did they survive so long? The Sentinelese are hunter-gatherers. They rely on fishing, hunting wild pigs, gathering fruits, and crafting simple tools from stone and wood. Despite lacking modern technology, they've mastered survival, using fire to cook and protect, making sharp weapons for hunting and defense, building canoes to navigate the shallow coral reefs, and living in harmony with their environment. They have survived tsunamis, monsoons, disease, and climate shifts for tens of thousands of years, all while preserving their ancient way of life. Title: Forbidden Contact. The Indian government has declared the island off-limits. No one is allowed to visit, no photography, no drone flights, no fishing nearby. This is not just to protect the Sentinelese. It's also to protect the rest of us from repeating the tragic mistakes of the past. Whenever isolated tribes are exposed to outsiders, they often face disease outbreaks from common viruses, cultural collapse, and the loss of language, land, and identity. The Sentinelese have made their position clear. They don't want our world. They've fired arrows at helicopters and boats, and in 2018, they made global headlines after killing a missionary who illegally entered their territory. Title: What does their DNA tell us? Though no one has directly tested Sentinelese DNA, nearby tribes like the Ong and Jarawa in the Andaman Islands provide important clues. Their genomes reveal ancient genetic markers that trace back to the first wave of humans out of Africa, and show very little mixing with outside groups. This suggests the Sentinelese may carry one of the purest genetic lineages of early humans alive today. Their ancestors likely walked along the now submerged coasts of South Asia, eventually reaching the Andaman Islands when sea levels were lower. And then, for thousands of years they stayed put, untouched by colonizers, empires, or even agriculture. No one knows what language the Sentinelese speak. It's not understood, not recorded, and not related to any known language on Earth. It may be a language isolate, a linguistic fossil with no living relatives. This makes their language a crucial key to understanding the prehistoric migrations of humans, and how early tribes communicated before the rise of writing or trade. To lose their language would be to lose an irreplaceable map of the human past. Title: Why this tribe matters more than ever. In a world where cultures are vanishing and languages are dying every week, the Sentinelese stand as a symbol of something rare. A living culture that has outlasted colonization, conquest, and globalization. They are not behind, they are not primitive, they are a people who chose to remain who they are, on their own terms. And that decision makes them one of the most valuable and endangered cultures in the world. Title: Controversy and Ethics. Some argue that we should try harder to study or help the Sentinelese. But history has shown that contact often means disaster. Anthropologists warn that even one cough, one handshake, or one shared object could introduce pathogens their immune systems have never encountered. Others argue that protecting their right to isolation is a form of respect, and a recognition that not all knowledge is ours to claim. We must ask, are we preserving a culture, or are we simply leaving it alone because that's what it wants? Title: Final Thoughts. The Sentinelese tribe may be the oldest living window into how humans once lived, before cities, machines, and maps. They remind us that the past is not gone, that human diversity is not just about skin color or nationality, but about knowledge systems, ways of life, and untold stories. We don't need to change them. We need to learn from their existence, from their strength, their survival, and their fierce independence. They are not a mystery to solve, they are a people to